If the pump head is 75 m, discharge is 0.464 m3s and the motor speed is 1440 rpm at rated condition, the specific speed of the pump is about A4, B26, C38, D1440. The correct answer is 38. When a retaining wall moves away from the backfill, the pressure exerted on the wall is termed as A. Passive earth pressure, B. Swelling pressure, C. Pore pressure, D. Active earth pressure. The correct answer is active earth pressure. Two primary air pollutants are A. Sulfur oxide and ozone, B. Nitrogen oxide and peroxyacetyl nitrate, C. Sulfur oxide and hydrocarbon, D. Ozone and peroxyacetylnitrate. The correct answer is sulfur oxide and hydrocarbon. Flocculation is a process A. that removes algae from stabilization pond effluent, B. that promotes the aggregation of small particles into larger particles to enhance their removal by gravity, C. both A and B, D. none of these. The correct answer is that promotes the aggregation of small particles into larger particles to enhance their removal by gravity. The effective length of a circular electric pole of length L and constant diameters erected on ground is A. 0.80 L, B. 1.20 L, C. 1.50 L, D. 2.00 L. The correct answer is 2.00 L. The focal length of the object glass of a tacheometer is 200 mm. The distance between the vertical axis of the tachometer and the optical center of the object glass is 100 mm, and the spacing between the upper and lower line of the diaphragm axis is 4 mm. With the line of collimation perfectly horizontal, the staff intercepts are 1 m top, 2 m middle and 3 m bottom. The horizontal distance m between the staff and the instrument station is A. 100.3, B. 103.0, C. 150.0, D. 153.0. The correct answer is 100.3. Allowable average shear stress in an unstiffened web for beams made of steel of grade 250 Nmm2 is A. 250 Nmm2, B. 165 Nmm2, C. 150 Nmm2, D. 100 Nmm2. The correct answer is 100 Nmm2. The superelevation needed for a vehicle traveling at a speed of 60 kmph on a curve of radius 128 m on a surface with a coefficient of friction of 0.15 is A. 0.71, B. 0.81, C. 0.91, D. 0.61. The correct answer is 0.71. The plastic modulus of a section is 4.8 x 10⁴ m3. The shape factor is 1.2. The plastic moment capacity of the section is 120 kN.m. The yield stress of the material is A. 100 MPa, B. 240 MPa, C. 250 MPa, D. 300 MPa. The correct answer is 250 MPa. A propped cantilever beam is shown in the below figure. The plastic moment capacity of the beam is m0. The collapse load P is A. 4 m0 L, B. 6 m0 L, C. 8 m0 L, D. 12 m0 L. The correct answer is 6 m0 L. The removal of dissolved organic matter occurs in A. slow sand filters, B. trickling filters, C. rapid sand filters, D. dual media filters. The correct answer is Trickling filters. The toughness index of clayey soils is given by A. Plasticity index, flow index. B. Liquid limit, plastic limit. C. Liquidity index, plastic limit. D. Plastic limit, liquidity index. The correct answer is plasticity index, flow index. A cantilever beam is shown in the below figure. The moment to be applied at free end for zero vertical deflection at that point is A. 9 kN.m clockwise, B. 9 kN.m anti-clockwise, C. 12 kN.m clockwise, D. 12 kN.m anti-clockwise. The correct answer is 12 kN.m anti-clockwise. The order or the flexibility matrix for a structure is A equal to the number of redundant forces, B more than the number of redundant forces, C less than the number of redundant forces, D equal to the number of redundant forces plus 3. The correct answer is equal to the number of redundant forces. The Bowen ratio is defined as A ratio of heat and vapor diffusivities, B proportionality constant between vapor heat flux and sensible heat flux, C ratio of actual evapotranspiration and potential evapotranspiration, D proportionality constant between heat energy used up in evaporation and the bulk radiation from a water body. The correct answer is proportionality constant between heat energy used up in evaporation and the bulk radiation from a water body. Water flows at a depth of 0.1 m with a velocity of 6 ms in a rectangular channel. The alternate depth is A 0.30 m, B 0.40 m, C 0.86 m, D 0.81 m. The correct answer is 0.81 m. Two footings, one circular and the other square, are founded on the surface of a purely cohesionless soil. The diameter of the circular footing is same as that of the side of the square footing. The ratio of their ultimate bearing capcities is A 3:4, B 4:3, C 1.0, D 1.3. The correct answer is 1.3. An isochrone is a line on the basin map. A joining rain gauge stations having equal rainfall duration. B joining points having equal rainfall depth in a given time interval. C joining points having equal time of travel of surface runoff to the catchment outlet. D joining points which are at equal distance from the catchment outlet. The correct answer is joining points having equal time of travel of surface runoff to the catchment outlet. Muskingum method for routing of flood. A is used for routing floods through reservoirs. B is a method of routing that uses continuity the momentum equations. C is a hydrologic method of routing floods through streams. D is one in which only energy equation is used. The correct answer is a method of routing that uses continuity the momentum equations. A frame ABCD is supported by a roller at A and is on a hinge at C as shown below. The reaction at the roller NA is given by AP, B2P, CP2, D0. The correct answer is 0. On an immersed body in a flowing fluid, the lift force is A due to buoyant force, B always in the opposite direction to gravity, C due to wake phenomenon, D the dynamic fluid force component normal to approach velocity. The correct answer is always in the opposite direction to gravity. In a section, shear center is a point through which if the resultant load passes, the section will not be subjected to any A bending, B tension, C compression, D torsion. The correct answer is torsion. Which one of the following conditions both elastic and plastic methods of analysis of indeterminate structures have to satisfy? A. Yield condition. B. Mechanism condition. C. Equilibrium. D. Compatibility of deformation. The correct answer is compatibility of deformation. Bituminous materials are used in highway construction primarily because of their A. Cementing and waterproofing properties. B. Load-bearing capacity. C. High specific gravity. D. Black color which facilitates road markings. The correct answer is cementing and waterproofing properties. The comparison between pumps operating in series and in parallel is: A. Pumps operating in series boost the discharge, whereas pumps operating in parallel boost the head. B. Pumps operating in parallel boost the discharge, whereas pumps operating in series boost the head. C. In both cases there would be a boost in discharge only. D. In both cases there would be a boost in head only. The correct answer is pumps operating in parallel boost the discharge, whereas pumps operating in series boost the head. At highway stretches where the required overtaking sight distance cannot be provided, it is necessary to incorporate in such sections the following: A. At least twice the stopping sight distance. B. Half of the required overtaking sight distance. C. 1/3 of the required overtaking sight distance. D. 3 times the stopping sight distance. The correct answer is at least twice the stopping sight distance. A pile of 0.50 m diameter and of length 10 m is embedded in a deposit of clay. The undrained strength parameters of the clay are cohesion 60 kN/m2 and the angle in internal friction 0. The skin friction capacity Kn of the pile for an adhesion factor of 0.6 is: A. 671, B. 565, C. 283, D. 106. The correct answer is 565. A roundabout is provided with an average entry width of 8.4 m, width of weaving section as 14 m, and length of the weaving section between channelizing islands as 35 m. The crossing traffic and total traffic on the weaving section are 1000 and 2000 PCU per hour respectively. The nearest rounded capacity of the roundabout in PCU per hour is: A. 3300, B. 3700, C. 4500, D. 5200. The correct answer is 3700. The shape of the stop sign according to IRC 67-2001 is: A. Circular, B. Triangular, C. Octagonal, D. Rectangular. The correct answer is octagonal. The force in the member D of the truss shown in the below figure is: A. 100.0 kN, B. 0, C. 35.5 kN, D. 25.0 kN. The correct answer is 0. The degree of static indeterminacy of the rigid frame having two internal hinges as shown in the figure below is: A. 8, B. 7, C. 6, D. 5. The correct answer is 5. Excessive fluoride in drinking water causes: A. Alzheimer's disease, B. mottling of teeth and embrittlement of bones, C. methemoglobinemia, D. skin cancer. The correct answer is mottling of teeth and embrittlement of bones. The proposed dam shown in the below figure is 90 m long and coefficient of permeability of the soil is 0.0013 mm/second. The quantity of water M3 that will be lost per day by seepage is rounded to the nearest number: A. 55, B. 57, C. 59, D61. The correct answer is 61. A 130 model of an Ogie spillway crest records an acceleration of 1.3 ms2 at a certain location. The homologous value of the acceleration in the prototype in ms2 is A 0.043, B 0.237, C 1.300, D 7.120. The correct answer is 1.300. The value of the camber recommended for cement concrete roads in areas of heavy rainfall is A1 in 25, B1 in 33, C1 in 40, D1 in 50. The correct answer is 1 in 50. A wastewater sample diluted to 100 times with aeration water had an initial dissolved oxygen due of 7.0 mg L, and after 5 days of incubation at 20 C the due was 0. The board of wastewater is A 700 mg L, B 100 mg L, C cannot be determined, D 7 mg L. The correct answer is 700 mg L. For the strip footing on a saturated clay for the given failure surface as shown in the below figure, the bearing capacity equation takes the form where Cu undrained shear strength, U angle of internal friction, B width of strip footing, Qc ultimate bearing capacity of soil, A 5.7 Cu, B 5.14 Cu, C 4 Cu, D 2 Cu. The correct answer is 5.14 Cu. A soil mass has coefficients of horizontal and vertical permeability as 9x10⁷ cm S and 4x10⁷ cm S respectively. The transformed coefficient of permeability of an equivalent isotropic soil mass is A 9x10⁷ cm S, B 4x10⁷ cm S, C 13x10⁷ cm S, D 6x10⁷ cm S. The correct answer is 6x10⁷ cm S. A reinforced concrete wall carrying vertical loads is generally designed as per recommendations given for columns. The ratio of minimum reinforcements in the vertical and horizontal directions is A21, B53, C11, D35. The correct answer is 2:1. The total active thrust on a vertical wall 3 m high retaining a horizontal sand backfill unit weight T20 kN/m 3 angle of shearing resistance 30 when the water table is at the bottom of the wall will be A 30 kN/m, B 35 kN/m, C 4 kN/m, D 45 kN/m. The correct answer is 30 kN/m. A vertical rod PQ of length L is fixed at its top end P and has a flange fixed to the bottom end Q. A weight W is dropped vertically from a height HL onto the flange. The axial stress in the rod can be reduced by A. Increasing the length of the rod, B. Decreasing the length of the rod, C. Decreasing the area of cross-section of the rod, D. Increasing the modulus of elasticity of the material. The correct answer is increasing the length of the rod. Compaction by vibratory roller is the best method of compaction in case of A. Moist silty sand, B. Well-graded dry sand, C. Clay of medium compressibility, D. Silt of high compressibility. The correct answer is well-graded dry sand. Design rate of superelevation for horizontal highway curve of radius 450 m for a mixed traffic condition having a speed of 125 km/h is A 1.0, B 0.05, C 0.07, D 0.154. The correct answer is 0.154. A mild steel specimen is under uni-axial tensile stress. Young's modulus and yield stress for mild steel are 2x 10⁵ MPa and 250 MPa respectively. The maximum amount of strain energy per unit volume that can be stored in this specimen without permanent set is A 156 Nmm-mm3, B 15.6 Nmm-mm3, C 1.56 Nmm-mm3, D 0.156 Nmm-mm3. The correct answer is 0.156 Nmm-mm3. Rivets and bolts subjected to both shear stress VF call and axial tensile stress TF call shall be so proportioned that the stresses do not exceed the respective allowable stresses VF and TF and the value of exceed does not exceed A 1.0, B 1.2, C 1.4, D 1.8. The correct answer is 1.4. Standard 5-day BOD of a wastewater sample is nearly X of the ultimate BOD where X is A 48, B 58, C 68, D 78. The correct answer is 68. A 2-lane single carriageway is to be designed for a design life period of 15 years. Total two-way traffic intensity in the year of completion of construction is expected to be 2,000 commercial vehicles per day. Vehicle damage factor 3.0, lane distribution factor 0.75. Assuming an annual rate of traffic growth as 7.5, the design traffic expressed as cumulative number of standard axles is A 42.9 x 10⁶, B 22.6 x 10⁶, C 10.1 x 10⁶, D 5.3 x 10⁶. The correct answer is 42.9 x 10⁶.